Well, our repair job on this side did not work. It actually came apart. Can you see what that gap right there? See that big gap?
Yep.
Well, we fiberglassed it on this side, and then I fiberglassed it, but when I was doing that, well, it finally busted loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fiberglass it on this side now. Now I've already cleaned it up, and this is what happened. You know, shit doesn't last forever, I guess. Sometimes it doesn't last even that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-fiberglass this, because I don't want to leave it like that where it's just half-ass, you know. So I got to mix up some more fiberglass resin, and we got to redo this section here, and I'm going to go ahead and put 2 layers on it. So if you look right here, this piece is actually fiberglass to this, and I was fiberglassing it underneath the car, but that didn't work too good. So what I got to do now is fiberglass it from the inside here, and we don't want wrinkles in it, so we're going to have to cut it a little smaller. Now our panel bond, because I panel bonded this area here from underneath, that actually held. It's the fiberglass that didn't hold. Once I put this on here like that, and then I will take this piece and put it like this, it will hold down and be strong.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
So this is the situation you have when you're working on these cars, especially these old fiberglass cars, is you run into these problems like this over and over and over. And to be honest with you, about 2.5 years ago, was it about 2 years ago, I did that 69 Corvette.
Yeah.
This 61 I'm doing is like 7 times worse than that other one. So the older the car is, the more work you got to do. And when we get done with this, we're not done fiberglassing yet. The owner requested that I fiberglass all these holes up. Now, why he wants those fiberglassed up, I don't know, because this is actually a package tray that goes under the car. But he said that it had giant black screws on it. So, and then of course right here we got to fiberglass all these up. And then to do that, we're not going to go through the process of showing you. What I'll do is I'll take my cutting wheel and I'll cut this out, kind of bevel all the edges, and then I'll put tape on this side, and then I will fill these holes in using our fiberglass resin paste that I mix up using matte. Then we'll fill these holes in, and then I'll smooth them down, of course, and then we can go ahead and drill new holes, but we're not going to go through that process. Go back into my videos, you'll see how I make my fiberglass paste and be done with it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fiberglass this up, and we need to get on it. So before I put the mat on there, and this is matte, we're not using cloth, do not use cloth. We're going to go ahead and get this wet.
How much time you got once you mix that up with the hardener?
Okay, it all depends on how much hardener you added and the weather. Right now, it's about, what, 70 degrees out, you'd say? So we got a good amount of time that we can mess with this. If it's in the summertime, you got to be pretty quick. But once again, it all depends on the weather. I'm sorry, the weather and how much hardener you put in it. So like I said, adding hardener to your fiberglass resin. I'm going to pour some on here. Did you see how I poured that on there?
I did.
So it'll drip whatever's left go on there. I just want to get that nice and thick. You want to get rid of the air bubbles. When you see white and it doesn't look solid brown, that's because that's an air bubble. It has to be a solid color. Now look at this right here. If you can zoom in, see how that's separated right there where my finger is? See that? We don't want that. You got to have that where it's glued on there, and I'm pulling it up, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling the mat with me. See how the mat's moving with me? See that? Alright, that's what you want. Okay, we are now 95% done block sanding, the final block sanding of our Corvette. Let's do a little walk around and I'll show you what we're talking about. So it took us approximately 2 days to final block sand it using our 320 sandpaper, and we got 2 flex blocks here. Very handy when doing the final sand job. We got a hard block right here, and then another block right here that we were using on all the flat surfaces. Now the problem we have on this particular car, there's really not a lot of flat surfaces anywhere, but we still want to go over it with the block to break it down. Then we go over it with our flex blocks. This is a car that's a molded fiberglass body. That means once it's all together and the pieces are glued, it's a one-piece body. You can see that. We got the rocker panels done. Many of the body shop girls working on the door jamb. I thought that one was done. Okay, but that doesn't even show, so we don't have to.
You want me to sand it off?
We don't have to 320 that.
I'm going to sand it.
That doesn't have to be 320.
Okay, fine. I'll sand it off.
Okay. It just doesn't have to be 320.
Okay.
You do 180. So speaking of 180, are you going over this door jamb with 180 first to break it down? Because that's never been sanded yet.
You told me to use 320 on it.
No, I said final sand job 320. If you break it down with 180, then you can go over 320 and it's done.
Okay, thank you.
And what I was trying to explain to Minnie, if you remember our first block sand job with our first initial 2K primer, we did a good block sanding with 180 grit. And the 180 grit will break it down very nice and clean and quick, so we can actually put this in the paint booth to get it painted. Using 320 on a primer job like what Minnie is sanding on will take hours and hours. How long did it take to do this door jamb?
15 hours.
That's what I thought. Now, Minnie did go ahead and sand all of the red. The red is ready to paint. All right, so the key to a beautiful paint job is sand, sand, sand. It takes a lot of sanding. You can see all the paper here. This is all 320. I think we've almost used a whole roll of 320 on this car, haven't we? Minnie, the body shop girl.
Yeah, Pete.
Can you show everybody the roll of 320, please, right there? Okay. So, you can see that the meticulous sanding of the vehicle is very crucial to do it properly. We got sanding to do, people. We're almost done. The Corvette is gonna be silver soon. Silver and red. And if Minnie keeps it up, she might get the hatchet out and get some real red going as she chops me into pieces.
No, I just won't come back from vacation. How about that?
Okay, thank you. Did you get this down to 320? I think you already did this, right? So I was thinking back, how many of these Corvettes have I done, this particular body style, and I came to the calculation that I've actually done 4 of them. I've done 4 of these C1 Corvettes, C2 style, whatever you want to call it, and I got to say, out of the 4 that I've done, this was probably the worst one. This one here, it was in battle axe condition. The repairs on it were extreme. Major body work. When we stripped it to fiberglass, we had to do extreme block sanding. Not just once, but 4 or 5 times. So I would say that this car is one of the worst cars as far as C1 Corvettes go. They're old, they're worn out, and most people don't realize the older the car gets, the more work you got to put into it. And that's exactly what's going on here. Another thing that people don't realize when you're restoring a car like this, and we'll go over there and I'll show you a very good example. It's called the domino effect. One thing leads into another. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to do that. If I don't do this, it'll look like shit on that. One deal is the chrome, for instance. We're going to have brand new paint, brand new, shiny, glossy paint, and we're going to put the old 1961 chrome back on it without chrome plating it. I'll let you visualize that in your head and you'll see what it looks like. So some stuff you can't chrome plate. So what do you do then? What do you do then? What you're going to do is you're going to go buy the parts that you can't chrome plate. And then now we're talking, let's see, stainless steel on this trim. I think that was what, $1,000? Okay, so there's that. The trim on the top here, how much is that? Just one thing after another. So let's go look at this car and I'll give you a good example. And we're talking about this right here. This thing sat for 18 years under a cottonwood tree. The guy that I got it from purchased it on eBay. He claims that he didn't mean to purchase it, that it was an accident, but he did go ahead and purchase it. He went and got it out in Nevada, and the car's originally from Colorado, and it was a special order car. The guy I got it from claims that he's got all the special paperwork that he can't find, but I know it was a special order car because it's got the L300 300 horsepower engine, the aluminum case transmission, and it's got the 12-bolt posi rear end. Other than that, I mean, it's just your basic standard no post hardtop Chevelle. It's 1966. But I wanted to get this thing running. I wanted to drive it. I was just making a daily driver out of it. I didn't want to do nothing special. I wasn't gonna, extremely restore everything. But then once I started getting into it and looking at it, we got front end suspension that's rotted and shot. I have to replace that. Gearbox is leaking. Master cylinders don't work anymore. Brakes itself, complete brake jobs. Then once we got all the suspension done, we started doing the body work and the rust. Well, I took the windshield out and this was rotted. This dashboard's $300. This little piece right here, I believe that was $80. So there's $400 right there. When I started fixing this, I noticed that there was surface rust all up and down inside the cowling right here. So I completely dismantled all that and then I cleaned it up and poured 15 that inside, killing the rust. Then we get into the trunk and it had a few little rust holes that I was just gonna patch, and I end up replacing the whole trunk floor. This is the hard top is totally different than the two-door post. This window is completely, totally different. This is totally different, and it was rotted. You can see where I'm still working on it. Do you see where I cut this off? I had to make all this. Now what I'm doing now is I'm matching the trim up with the outer edge, and you can see where I'm cutting it, and I have to re-weld this. We took the dash apart. What did we do then? Well, I went ahead and rebuilt the heater box, put a brand new heater core in it. You can see the brand new cables. I had to buy wire harnesses. Wire harnesses were shot, so yeah. And then what else happened? What's going on then? Well, the owner of the Corvette decided he wanted to take the dash apart, which we weren't even going to do that. That was not in the process of what we planned when the car first got here. And so we went ahead and took that apart, and it led into him buying a brand new wire harness. And now we have to completely wire that up to get that done. So yeah, I mean, it's an effect that affects not just you, but your wallet and everybody else, because when a car like this comes into my shop, I say, yeah, bring it on, and then I plan on how long it's going to be here, which I want it here as the shortest time possible. But when you start adding all this stuff onto it, and one thing after another, and you didn't plan on doing all that, but then you realize I have to do that, there's no way out of it. Well, then the car's here longer. So what happens then? When the car is here at a longer period of time, what's going on then? Well, the longer the car is in my shop, the less money I make. That's just common sense. This car's been here for a year. This car's been here for a year now, and we've been working on it pretty steady. And is it the owner's fault? No, it's not the owner's fault. The owner wants to just go down the road. Hold on one second. Okay. So, hello, Southwest, hello. Hello. Okay, nobody. All right, spam callers, that's another thing, can we go into that action? Not today. So anyway, we got the Corvette on the ground and we're gonna get it ready to paint. We have done all of the sanding that we're gonna do. We're gonna get it on jack stands, and while it's in the paint booth, I'm gonna see if sandblaster guy can go ahead and blast the tires for the wheels, and we can go ahead and get those painted. Then we'll go ahead and do the deck lid and miscellaneous little stuff. So what we want to do is we want to concentrate on getting this painted and getting it done, because behind me, what do I got? I got a 71 Chevelle that has been on this rotisserie longer than it should have been and needs to get back on the frame, and I got to get back on that so I can get that car out of here, because this one is actually closer to getting done than this one is. Okay, we got the car outside. And Minnie's blowing it off, getting all the primer dust and everything else off it. And getting it ready for paint. So we've changed the filters in our paint booth. Let's go look at that. Alright, so what Minnie's doing now is she is meticulously and agonizingly looking for imperfections that we miss, like a pinhole or possibly a little scratch that we might have missed, because when you paint the car and you don't get all those little pinholes out, those things show up like a giant crater in New Mexico.
And tell them how exactly I'm finding them.
Using the light?
Yes, exactly.
So she's looking at it using the light, and as she's walking around, she's looking for pinholes. That's the main thing she's looking for. And if we look over here, it looks like she found one right there, I guess.
Yeah, you found that one. That's
Okay.
the only one I found.
Yeah, it's right there. Look, there's another one, so there's two of them. All right, so while Minnie's fixing all that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start outlining the car so we can paint the red. We don't want to get any red overspray on the prime job. We want to keep our prime job nice and clean. So to start out with, what we're going to do, we're just going to take 2-inch tape and we're going to go around and we're going to edge it. We're going to make sure that we cover the edge where the silver paint's going to be. Another thing about painting this interior, it's going to clean it up, and it's going to let us, when we take this off, it's going to be really easy and smooth to take off. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this hardware because we don't want to paint it with the latches in there. I mean, that would look like shit, okay? Look. So we'll go ahead and put those in a bag and tag it, and on the wiring, we're going to cover that up. We'll get that covered up with some, let's get that out of there, by the way. We'll get that covered up with some foil, and the trunk will be ready to paint. All right, what we're doing is we are now ready for painting. So I'm mixing up the sealer. I'm going to put a coat of sealer on pretty much all of it. And I am going to add 10% reducer to my epoxy sealer, not 2K primer that you can claim to be epoxy sealer, because it's not. If someone tells you take the 2K primer and add reducer to it and a sealer, it's not. So once again, we're using epoxy primer. You want to go ahead and show everybody that? You know, I don't understand. That's one of the most conceptuous, fucking misunderstated, educated things in the world to people that want to paint their car. I get more calls and more questions on epoxy primer and why can't I use 2K primer, and it says on the can on 2K to put reducer in it and it's epoxy. No, it's not. Epoxy primer is fucking primer that is a sealer. You can't sand it.
Okay.
What is the big deal with,
you getting mad?
you know, people understanding that? It's like this. Back in, when I was a kid, we had wall phones and mud puddles, and we played with our little cars in the mud puddle. Now, kids sit at home and do nothing but play on fucking iPhones.
And that has nothing to do with nothing. But anyhow, Pete's OCD and obsessive compulsive, so yeah, y'all know the drill.
So back to the epoxy primer, okay?
That's his obsessive compulsive
Let me tell you this.
problem.
Epoxy primer is a sealer.
You've already told everybody 1,000 times. Just stop.
So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then once we get the epoxy primer on it, we'll come back. I'm going to show it to you. Then I'm going to apply the red paint. I'm going to go ahead and clear coat it. It's going to be beautiful. So we will be back.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.